Look, here's the truth. There's an easy way to get good at music. There's an easy way, and you already probably know about it, and you avoid it at all costs because in the back of your mind, you think, this is hard at first. You might have even tried this easy way to get good at music a few times. You may notice that something happens every time you try this. We're talking about transcribing today. What is it? Why do we need to do it? How do we do it? It is not going to be easy. You're going to make loads of mistakes. You're going to fail again and again. It's going to feel hard. It's not going to be as comfortable as playing an F blues for the 1,000,000th time in the same old you play every time you do it. But that's the beauty of it. That's how we get good. That's the easy way to get good. And as we go on this journey together, just keep in mind. This video is sponsored by Open Studio. Go to openstudiojazz.com to check out courses from yours truly, as well as greats like Fred Hirsch, Peter Martin, Jeffrey Keyser, Sean Jones, Christian McBride, Gregory Hutchinson, and many, many more. You've probably heard it again and again and again. Transcribe, learn it from the record, from experienced musicians, from teachers. There's a ton of YouTube videos. A lot of these are really good YouTube videos about how to transcribe, why to transcribe. All of it's great. Even here at Open Studio, we've made a ton of courses about transcription.
The second part of your vocabulary will be transcribing.
Today we're going to talk about transcribing.
The transcription process is extremely important.
Transcribing solos. It's one of our favorite things to do as jazz artists.
You're going to have this beautiful transcription. We've made a ton of YouTube videos about transcription.
How to absorb what you transcribe.
It can be overwhelming. You go on social media, you see what everybody else is transcribing, and you're like, well, I want to get in on it, but I don't have the ears.
Le transcript de tout le monde.
You've taken it
des États-Unis.
About 45 seconds too far. These are all great, and we're not going to stop that because they're really, really useful to analyze the music and to demonstrate and to explain what's going on beneath the surface. But the people who are benefiting the most from all of these transcription videos are the folks who did the transcriptions. Now, before we get too far into this, let's talk about the word itself, transcribe. If you're playing Black American music, or really anything that's not Western classical music, transcribe doesn't necessarily mean to write out what you're doing, to put thoughts, speech, or data into written or printed form. Yeah, sometimes, but really it's all about listening to the record, absorbing that record, internalizing it, and playing along with it, really getting the feel of it. Here's the great Christian McBride from his Open Studio course, The Fundamentals of Jazz Bass and Beyond, explaining exactly that.
I think when you're transcribing a solo, instead of really learning the notes, it's most important to transcribe as much of the feel as you can. When I say transcribe, I don't mean notating down on paper what they're playing. Do that if there's something you really, really want to analyze. But in terms of transcribing things, you should try to do it as much with your ear and internalize it as much as you can. Because if you just kind of listen to something and you write it down, you're not really getting the full meaning of what those lines are supposed to mean. You can't write down the feel. So when you're listening to a particular track and there's something you want to learn, get the feel of it. That's the way you get the effectiveness of transcribing something.
One note here too, you might have like a ton of these transcription books, and just be honest here, how much of those solos that you've read or that you've taken from a written copy that someone else transcribed, how much of those have you actually absorbed? Yeah, maybe some kind of lick has stuck around, but in general, you probably don't sound like Charlie Parker just from reading from the Omni book. And how many tunes that you've learned from the real book do you actually memorize in that way? Have you ever learned a tune by ear? I love this clip from Robert Glasper, who's one of the greatest musicians on the planet right now, talking about learning music by ear. Check this out.
Okay, listen. I couldn't hit Herbie or Chick When I was learning how to play this music, I couldn't hit Herbie and Chick. Could you give me a chart? No, you listen to it and you learn it and you write it out yourself. That's how you get good. That's how you get to the level. You can't be great and be lazy. Those two things don't match. Those two things don't match.
The faster you recognize that, the better. Now, that's, of course, very easy to say, but we all know that in the back of our minds, we're thinking, this is pretty hard, especially you haven't done it much. And it gets easier and easier and easier. Trust me, the more you do it, of course, the better you get, which is one of the benefits of doing it. There's a direct correlation between how much a musician gets music from the record and how good they actually are. I've seen it now for years and years and years and years. So just bite the bullet, get into the hard stuff. Now, one other fact about that is that when you do this, you're gonna fail. Kind of a lot.
Maybe you don't believe in me.
I do believe in you. I just know you're gonna fail.
I mean, not to be a downer, but you're gonna have to accept that that's part of the process. That is helping you to be better. All right, so how do we do this? How do we actually transcribe? It's actually a pretty simple process when it comes down to it. We're gonna break it down into 3 simple instructions. The first instruction is to listen 21 times to what you're transcribing. This is a lot of times to listen to something, and maybe you listen to this 21 times today. Maybe you listen to it 21 times tomorrow. Maybe 10 times today, maybe 11 times tomorrow. The point is, before you even sit down with your instrument, you listen, 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 and listen again. Step 2, and we're still not even getting to our instrument, is to sing it. All of the greats sing all of the time. It's the famous Lester Young quote. He stopped playing in the middle of a solo because he forgot the words, right? This is a huge part of internalizing it so that you don't have to overthink your way through these solos that you're trying to learn. Spend a whole day just listening to it and singing along with what you're trying to transcribe. And then finally, take it to your instrument. Sit down, try to learn it from your singing voice, right? From that internalization. See if you can figure some of the stuff out on your instrument. This takes some discipline. You're going to want to do this the very first 10 minutes that you're trying to learn something. Again, take a few days to just absorb it. Really, really try to absorb it. I think you're going to find that it comes out way faster on your instrument if you've taken that time. Then when you get to your instrument, now you're trying to figure out, now you're really learning it at a very deep level. This isn't just a read through the real book or iRealB level. This is like, I'm actually understanding what's going on. Listen to the melody of the solo. Listen to the bass line. Try to figure out where's the bass moving. Try to figure out the thirds and the sevenths of the chords that the bass is playing around. All of that stuff is going to be super helpful. And remember what Christian McBride said. It's all about getting the feel. More important than the notes is to really walk in the shoes of these masters. Don't just let silly YouTubers do this for you. Get your hands dirty. Get in there and really do the work that's going to make you better. Again, this is the easy way to get better at playing music. Now, maybe you're wondering, what should I even transcribe? What should I pick to transcribe? Well, I'm going to fix that for you right now.
I'm going to fix that for you right now.
Thank you, Harry. You're best off picking something that you absolutely love. Something that you probably already know really well would be best. I also have 3 suggestions here for you. I have 3 tunes loaded up in SoundSlice. Check the description for the SoundSlice links. SoundSlice is the platform that we use here at Open Studio for all of our transcriptions. It's our living notation system. It's amazing. I have Charlie Parker's Billy's Bounce. I have Clifford Brown's Sandu. And I have Wynton Kelly's solo on Freddie Freeloader. Now, the cool thing about SoundSlice is that you can slow it down without losing pitch. So you can take your time with it. So I'm going to challenge you. If you're a beginner, start with one of these solos. Probably Billy's Bounce is the best entry point. Learn the head, which is pretty easy. And then I want you to learn the solo 4 bars at a time. See if you can listen to it, again, 21 times at the minimum. See if you can sing through the whole solo, and then when you get to your instrument, take it 4 bars at a time. Just learn 4 bars at a time. Couldn't be simpler. Do this for 5 to 10 minutes every day. You don't have to kill yourself here. You don't have to say, okay, in the next 6 months, I'm transcribing every Chick Corea solo ever done. No, just start very simply. Get in the habit of transcribing. So we also have a challenge here. We're going to make a video of you playing your transcriptions of one of these 3 great solos. You can pick one or all 3 of these great solos. All you have to do is go to Instagram. You can tag us at Open Studio Jazz. We're going to use the hashtag #TheEasyWay for this challenge. So post your video to Instagram, hashtag #TheEasyWay, and you might see your clip on a future Open Studio video. We're going to make a compilation of everybody working on this together. As you get to this, remember a couple of things. First, this is hard, and that's a good thing. Second, keep in mind that you're going to find there's so much failure involved with this, and that is also a good thing. But in the end, we have to frame it in a way that's helpful for us. So let's remember the mantra of this session, which is thanks everyone for joining me today. I can't wait to see your videos. Don't forget to smash that like button. Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. Till next time, happy practicing.